All right, friends, this is day 3 of our 3 for 30 on 8 video devotion. And today we're looking at Romans 8 verses 3 and 4. So let me read that for you. What the law was powerless to do because it was weakened by the flesh, God did by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh to be a sin offering. And so he condemned sin in the flesh in order that the righteous requirement of the law might be fully met in us, who do not live according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. This passage is reminding us that we are spiritually powerless to save ourselves. So the Old Testament law said to us, love God and love your neighbor, and you will have life. But because of our flesh, our sinful and selfish desires, we were like, nah, I'm going to love nobody but myself. The commands of God are powerless to save us because we by ourselves are powerless to obey them. Now, on this theme of powerlessness, we're getting pretty acquainted with our powerlessness these days, aren't we? I mean, that's not always in itself a bad thing, but it's hard. In so many ways, we feel helpless. There's so much we can't control about our lives right now. We feel powerless over our circumstances. I mean, in our family here, we're running out of toilet paper and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, more seriously, we're unable to make this pandemic go away. We can't guarantee our economic security. We can't guarantee we won't get sick. But here's another way we've seen our powerlessness lately. We're powerless to love, at least to love consistently. We're a couple of weeks into this. Aren't you getting frustrated with people more easily? I know I am. Hasn't it gotten harder to be patient and to put the needs of other people before your own? I mean, as much as our unyielding circumstances make us feel weak, our unyielding hearts make us feel even weaker. And so here's the incredible news, the good news of this passage for powerless people like you and me. What we were powerless to do, God did. God did everything in his infinite power to save us and to love us. He sent his own son Jesus to be an offering for our sin. He condemned Jesus on the cross so that we wouldn't be condemned. In his love, he gave us his Spirit. God, in his power, did everything needed for our salvation. You and I, we are familiar with our powerlessness. Are you also familiar with God's power to save? God does continue to meet us in our weakness. He won't always change our circumstances, but he will give us power to persevere in them. He won't instantly make us sinless, but he will give us power to love. What we were powerless to do, God did, and God still does. Do you believe this? Have a great day living in light of God's love and God's power.